Madam, what is this place?
Welcome to the Deep Wing. You are not students. You are inventory.
The red dust of Ogbomoso never really leaves you. It settles into your skin, into the creases of your palms, into the hems of your clothes. It marks you. It tells the world where you come from. Amara had lived with that dust for 17 years. 17 years of watching it swirl through her family's compound, coating the plastic chairs under the mango tree, settling on the metal basin where her mother washed clothes, clinging to the cracked mirror where Amara sometimes stared at herself and wondered if there was more to life than this, more than this beautiful, endless poverty. Her father had once been a teacher before the government stopped paying salaries. Now he repaired bicycles in a small lean-to beside their house. His hands were always stained with grease, his back bent from work. But his eyes still carried the quiet pride of an educated man, a man whose mind was sharp, even if his life had been dulled by disappointment. Her mother sold provisions by the roadside, Maggie cubes, matches, sachets of pure water sweating in the heat, and her 3 younger siblings followed her everywhere, always hungry, always needing. Amara was the eldest, the hope, the one who would lift them all. She had won every academic prize her school offered: mathematics, English, science, certificates printed on cheap paper. But her mother hung them on the wall like they were made of gold. Teachers spoke about her in reverent tones, like intelligence was a miracle in a place where most girls her age were already married, already pregnant, already resigned. Then came the letter. It arrived on a Tuesday afternoon, a cream-colored envelope, thick, expensive, important. The postman handed it to her mother with both hands, as if it might contain money. It didn't. It contained something far more dangerous: a full scholarship. The International Catering and Hospitality Academy, Lagos, room and board included. A pathway to international opportunities in Europe and the Middle East. Her mother wept. Not soft tears. She wept like something sacred had happened. Her father stood very still, reading the letter over and over, as if he was afraid the words might change. That night, the entire compound celebrated. Neighbors brought what they could: a bar of soap, a tube of cream, 50 naira notes folded small. They roasted a chicken, an extravagance. For the next month, they would eat beans and gari. But that night, they feasted like kings. Later, when the lamps burned low, her father pulled her aside. He placed both hands on her shoulders. They were trembling. "You are carrying all of us now," he said, "not just this family. Every child here who dreams of something more." She nodded and felt the weight settle onto her. The morning she left, her mother plaited her hair slowly, carefully, cornrows woven tight against her scalp. Her mother's fingers were steady, but her hands were shaking. "You will write every week," her mother said, not a question, a command wrapped in fear. "Every week," Amara promised. The bus to Lagos was hot, crowded, smelling of sweat and overripe fruit. Amara pressed her face to the window, watching Ogbomoso disappear behind her, the red dust, the only life she had ever known. Everything she owned fit inside one worn backpack. 3 school uniforms, a photograph of her family, a Bible from her grandmother, and hope. She carried hope like it was something solid, like it had weight, like it could not break. Lagos rose before her like a fever dream, highways twisting like concrete snakes, cars everywhere, noise, movement, possibility. A driver waited for her. White uniform, crisp, professional. He held a sign with her name on it. He barely spoke. He loaded her bag into a sleek black car that smelled like leather and money. They drove for over an hour past the chaos, into the exclusive suburbs. The roads grew smoother, the walls grew taller. Security gates guarded compounds that looked like palaces. Then they turned into a private drive lined with royal palms. And Amara saw it. The International Catering and Hospitality Academy. Ivory-colored buildings. Perfect gardens. Fountains sparkling in the sun. Young women in pristine white uniforms moving with elegance. It looked like a dream, or a place girls like her were never meant to enter. The car stopped, and she stepped out. That's when she met Madame Zanda. Beautiful in the way money makes people beautiful, polished, precise. Her smile was warm, her perfume expensive, her voice smooth as silk. "Amara," she said, "welcome." And Amara believed, with all her heart, that she had just stepped into her future. The first weeks felt like heaven. Clean sheets, hot showers, 3 full meals every day. Food Amara had only seen in magazines. Pasta with cream sauce, roasted chicken glazed in honey, soft bread that melted in her mouth. She ate slowly at first, carefully, as if someone might tell her it was a mistake. The classrooms were air-conditioned, cold enough to make her shiver. Every student had her own workstation, shiny stainless steel counters, industrial ovens, knives that gleamed under bright white lights. It felt serious, professional, important. Madame Zanda moved through the academy like a queen inspecting her palace. Always elegant, always composed. Her heels never seemed to make a sound. She praised Amara often. Incredible discipline. Natural leadership. Such poise. Those words, they filled a space inside Amara she didn't even know was empty. For the first time in her life, she wasn't the poor girl from Ogbomoso. She was special. But slowly, small things began to feel strange. The academy was divided into 2 sections. The main building, bright and open, and another wing, older, quieter, locked. The girls whispered about it. They called it the deep wing. At first, Amara ignored the stories. Every school has rumors. But then she noticed something. Some girls would be selected, always the most beautiful, always the most obedient. They would be called into Madame Zanda's office, and later they would disappear for a few days. When they returned, they were different, their smiles tighter, their eyes distant, like something inside them had shifted. One night, during prep duty, Amara saw something she was not meant to see. She had stayed behind to clean the pastry station. The corridors were quiet, too quiet. As she carried a tray past the administrative hallway, she heard a door open. Soft laughter, male voices, deep, unfamiliar. She froze. This was a girls' academy. No men were allowed in student areas, at least that was the rule. The door at the end of the hall was slightly open. Light spilled through the crack, golden, warm, not the harsh white of classroom bulbs, but something softer, intimate. She moved closer, slowly, her heart beating louder with every step. Through the narrow opening, she saw it, a private dining room, lavish, crystal glasses, expensive wine, men in tailored suits, and 2 girls from the academy, still wearing their uniforms, serving them, but not like students doing training. No, their smiles were forced, their posture too stiff, their eyes carefully avoiding direct contact. One of the men reached out, touching a girl's wrist, letting his hand linger too long. Amara felt her stomach turn. This was not hospitality training. This was something else, something wrong. Suddenly, a hand gripped her shoulder, hard. She gasped. It was Madame Zanda, her smile still in place, but her eyes were cold now, sharp, calculating. "You are curious?" Madame said softly. Too softly. Amara could barely speak. I was just cleaning." Madame Zanda studied her for a long moment. Then she smiled again, warm, motherly, almost kind. "There are opportunities here," she said. "Opportunities that go beyond cooking. Powerful men invest in this academy. They sponsor dreams." She leaned closer, her perfume strong, overwhelming. "You are intelligent, Amara. Do not let small-town morality limit your future." The words landed heavy. Small-town morality. Was that what her values were? Small? Madame's fingers squeezed her shoulder once more. "Go to your room," she said gently, "and forget what you think you saw." Amara nodded. But that night, sleep did not come. She lay awake, staring at the ceiling, listening to distant footsteps echo down the corridor, listening to doors open and close. She thought about her father's trembling hands, her mother's shaken fingers braiding her hair. "You are carrying all of us now." The weight pressed against her chest. What exactly was she carrying, and at what cost? By morning, she knew one thing. This place was not just an academy. It was a cage. Beautiful, polished, golden, but still a cage. The invitation came 3 days later. Cream card, gold lettering, embossed seal, private galanite, selected students only. Amara's name was written in ink, neat, intentional. Her hands trembled as she held it. She already knew what it meant. Still, she hoped she was wrong. That evening, Madame Zanda summoned her. The office smelled of jasmine and polished wood. Madame stood by the window, looking out at the manicured gardens. "You have been chosen," she said without turning around. "Chosen for what?" Amara asked, her voice steady, but her chest tight. Madame turned slowly. "You are not a child, Amara. These men are influential. They sit on boards. They own companies. They can change your life." She stepped closer. "And your family's life." There it was, the hook, the reminder, the weight. "You think scholarships fall from heaven?" Madame continued. "No. They are investments. And investments expect returns." The word hung in the air. Returns. Amara swallowed. "I came here to cook," she said quietly. Madame smiled. "Sometimes," she replied softly, "you must serve more than food." Silence, heavy, uncomfortable. Then Madame's tone shifted, sharper now. "You come from nothing? Do not pretend you have options." The words struck like a slap, but Amara did not lower her gaze, not this time. That night she dressed for the gala, white uniform replaced with a fitted evening gown, deep emerald green. Beautiful, too beautiful. Her reflection in the mirror startled her. She looked older, polished, like someone who belonged in rooms with chandeliers. But her eyes were uncertain. The gala hall shimmered, crystal chandeliers, soft live music, men in tailored suits laughing too loudly, the air thick with expensive perfume and quiet transactions. The selected girls stood along the walls, like art pieces, displayed, evaluated. A tall man approached Amara, gray at the temples, gold cufflinks, slow smile. "You must be the brilliant one," he said, his voice smooth, too smooth. "I've heard about you." He extended his hand. She hesitated, then shook it. His grip lingered, just slightly too long. They spoke of business, of Europe, of opportunities abroad, each sentence carefully constructed. each promise shining like bait. "You're too intelligent to waste your life in a village," he said. "You deserve comfort. You deserve luxury. Your family deserves security." Every word struck its target, because it was true. Her siblings did deserve better. Her father deserved rest. Her mother deserved ease. The music grew softer, more intimate. The man leaned closer. "You only need to be agreeable." That word again, soft, harmless sounding, but dangerous. Amara felt her heart pounding, not from attraction, from war, inside her. She could see it clearly now, the path in front of her, money, connections, power, her family lifted out of poverty, and all she had to do was bend just a little, just once, just enough. Her father's voice echoed in her mind. "You are carrying all of us." Her mother's fingers braiding her hair. "Every week you will write." She imagined going home in fine clothes, driving a car, building a new house for her parents. Would the method matter if the result was good? Her thoughts raced. The man's hand brushed her back, light, possessive, claiming, and suddenly, clarity. Not loud, not dramatic, but firm. If she sold herself tonight, she would never belong to herself again, no matter how golden the cage became. She stepped back, slowly, respectfully. "I am grateful for the opportunity," she said, her voice calm, controlled. "But I came here to learn hospitality. I will not offer anything else." Silence fell between them. The man's smile faded, just a little. "You're making a mistake," he said quietly. "Perhaps," she replied, "but it will be my mistake." She turned, walking away, each step steady, each breath deliberate. Across the room, Madame Zanda watched, her expression unreadable. Amara did not look back, because she knew the price of defiance was coming, and it would not be small. The punishment did not come loudly. It came quietly. The next morning, her access card stopped working. Her name disappeared from the kitchen roster. Her classmates avoided her eyes. Whispers followed her down the corridor. By afternoon, she was summoned. Madame Zanda did not offer her a seat. "I am disappointed," she said. "You embarrassed important guests?" Amara stood straight. "I did nothing wrong." Madame's expression hardened. "You misunderstand how the world works." "No," Amara replied softly. "I understand it very well." Silence. Then the final blow. "Your scholarship has been reconsidered." The word felt clinical, clean, cruel. "You will pack your things. Transport will be arranged." Just like that. No shouting, no drama, just erasure. That evening, Amara folded her clothes slowly. The same 3 uniforms, the same Bible, the same photograph. Hope felt different now, heavier but not broken. As the black car drove her away from the academy, she did not cry. She watched the gates close behind her, tall, immaculate, beautiful, and hollow. The ride back to Ogbomoso felt longer, quieter. She rehearsed explanations in her mind, failure, expulsion, disappointment. But when she stepped into her family's compound, her mother ran to her first. No questions, just an embrace. Tight, fierce, as if she had returned from war. Her father looked at her carefully, searching her face. "Did you do something you are ashamed of?" he asked. "No," she said, her voice firm. He nodded. "Then you did not fail." That night there was no feast, only Gary and ground nuts. But the food tasted honest. In the weeks that followed, the neighbors talked. Some said she had wasted her chance. Others said she had been foolish. But slowly, a different story began to spread. a girl who refused powerful men, a girl who chose dignity over comfort. Mothers began sending their daughters to her. "Talk to her," they said. "Teach her what you learned." Amara started small, using her knowledge, training girls in her mother's backyard, teaching catering basics, food hygiene, presentation, confidence. They practiced with borrowed pots, improvised ovens, plastic tables. It was not glamorous, but it was real. Months passed. Then a local church invited her to cater an event. She gathered her students. They cooked through the night, jollof rice rich with spice, fried chicken crisp and golden, puff soft and sweet. The event was a success. Then another booking came, and another. Money trickled in, not fast, not easy, but clean. One afternoon, as harmattan dust floated gently through the compound, Amara looked at the girls laughing around her, young, hopeful, unbroken, and she understood something powerful. The academy had been a cage, but it had also been a lesson. She did not need their network. She would build her own. She did not need their permission. She would create her own doors. Years later, people would speak of Amara Catering Institute, a training ground for girls from villages, a place where scholarships required no hidden price. And whenever someone asked her about Lagos, about the glittering academy, she would smile softly and say, "Not every golden door leads to freedom. Some doors are cages." The red dust of Ogbomoso still clung to her feet, but now it did not feel like limitation. It felt like foundation.